This vlog will be covering Project Runway, Under the Gun, episode 1 and 2. So, my name is Nikki, and I am the host of a competitive reality show called Knockout. That's N-O-C-K, and it's about target archers. So I was a host on that, and I also produced. So I worked on challenges, I interviewed contestants for the talking head interviews that you see, and I worked a little bit, kind of on every aspect of the show. So I think it gives me kind of a little different perspective. But a majority of this is that I'm just a fan of reality TV, and I've only worked on one set for a reality show, and it was a very small set compared to something like Project Runway. So by no means am I an expert. I have also been a Project Runway fan since season 2. So I missed season 1, I knew about it, but I didn't actually watch it. I started with season 2, and I started reading recaps or blogs season 3. So I am a huge fan. I've been a fan for a really long time. I've seen all of the Project Runway Americas, including the All-Stars, and, you know, Project Accessory, and now Under the Gun. I have also seen all of the Project Runway Canada, Project Runway Australia, and Project Catwalk, which was the British one. I tried checking out like Korea or the Philippines, and I just couldn't follow it without knowing the language. Not only am I a big fan, but I have forced my husband to watch every season. So I'm very proud of him because he's very good at watching it and knowing who's going to win and who's going to lose, and you know who the real strong contenders are. But he really is not in and of himself a fan. So to start with, if you are unfamiliar with the show, with Project Runway, it is a competitive reality clothing design competition. They have to design and execute the designs. There's challenges every week. Someone's eliminated, someone wins. Project Runway has just a single challenge per episode as opposed to like a quick fire or a mini challenge at the front of the competition. There are judges that judge them, and there's a finale that is a runway show, and somewhere between 3 and 5 contestants will have a runway show, and then the winner is crowned. There's also been a few all-star shows. Now, on Project Runway, Heidi Klum is the host, and Tim Gunn is the mentor to the designers. Now, on Project Runway, Under the Gun, Tim Gunn is the host of the show, and he is also like the super mentor. And underneath him are 3 Project Runway alumni who are mentors, and then underneath them are 12 designers that there's 4 per mentor, for 3 mentors for a total of 12. Tim is teaching the mentor. He runs the show and he teaches the mentors kind of what they're doing. So it's kind of like a meta reality show. You have the mentors are competing because the eventual designer who wins, their mentor will also win. So you have the mentors who are supposed to be helping the contestants, and then you have the contestants who are actually competing. So there's kind of this double layer. My first thought when I heard about the show was, definitely about Tim, that we are seeing a lot of Tim. He is everywhere. He is definitely the heart and soul of Project Runway, but we have been seeing a lot of him everywhere. So my first thought was, oh, are we starting to kind of jump the shark with Tim Gunn? I still love him. I don't have a problem with him, but that was sort of my thought when I heard about this show. The second thing is the mentors. There are 3 mentors. There is Mondo, Nick Verreos, and Anya. Anya won her season. Nick was, I believe, 3rd runner-up. He didn't make it to the finale. And Mondo lost his season. He was 1st runner-up, but then he won the subsequent All-Star season. So those are your 3 mentors, and they're supposed to help the designers. I was kind of concerned when I heard them initially. Starting with Anya. Anya won her season. But the joke was that she only made 1 sleeve the whole season. Not even like 1 outfit with sleeves, I mean like 1 sleeve. She's not very technically skilled, and most of her designs were really print driven, in that she found a really good print and a really simple design that would go with it. The clothes themselves look great, but you wouldn't really call them designed. She's a wonderful, wonderful stylist. I mean, she's the one you want to go shopping for because she will put an outfit together completely, and it will be awesome. But, excuse me. But as a, but I don't know how that's going to translate to her as a mentor. She'll be able to help them with styling, but she's not going to be able to help them very much with anything technical. So that's Anya. Second is Nick Verreos. He has been a teacher for quite a few years, but I was not a fan of a lot of his work on the show. I don't remember much of his stuff except for he had a great Barbie challenge, and that's about all I remember. I remember there's a Nikki Hilton dress I think he did well with, but anyway, I don't remember I wasn't super impressed by all of his stuff. And he is a teacher, which is a real benefit, but I don't know, first of all, I don't know how good of a teacher he is, and secondly, I don't know that if he ever did any real mentorship. So he has these there's a lot of good things on paper for Nick about why he'd be a good mentor, but I don't know if that's actually the truth. And the last one is Mondo. Mondo did not win his season, which was a huge controversy. But then they immediately did the All-Stars, and it felt like he was, I don't know. I wasn't as much of a fan of him on the All-Stars as I was on his season. Everyone thought he was going to win his season. You can see the final designs long before you actually know who's in the finale, and everyone knew he was in the finale, and everyone thought he should have won, and it was a real shock when he didn't win. But I don't know how good of a mentor he's going to be. He is very technically good, but he's very well liked. But I don't know how well he's going to actually do as a mentor. He's a very unique style. So anyway, those are the mentors. So my initial gut reaction was like, oh, Anya can't sew. I'm not that big of a fan of Nick. And I was like, oh, and Mondo, I don't really know if he'd be a good mentor. So I was kind of like, I wasn't all that, excited about the mentors. And it's kind of a complicated setup. My husband was listening from the other room, and he goes, oh my gosh, the explanation just took forever. And then, of course, the first 2 episodes are about the mentors picking their 12 designers. And that took forever. I mean, we started watching that first episode. We just hit play. And we were just kind of, playing on our phone, watching, maybe chit-chatting a little bit. And I remember it was like 20 minutes in, and we were like, this is still going on? This feels like I've been living my entire life in this moment. Like I've been here forever, since the beginning of time, watching Project Runway Under the Gun. And we looked, and it was an hour and a half, and I was like, oh. And it took us that entire week, watching 15 minutes a night and then switching to something different. It took us all week to watch it. The pacing is just so slow. And there's just too many people for me to get an idea of what's happening, all that. So I'm not going to talk about each of the designers right now. I'll get into that more when we're not having all these crazy, the mentors, and the mentors are looking at this, that, and this, and they're switching over here, we're over there, and now they're guessing. And it was like 9 segments in the show. So about the picking process, what I did enjoy, and I started warming up to Nick a lot, was, when they go into the profile, everyone's very, they're really sure of themselves, and they're really like, oh, judging, and this is all going to happen, and then when they actually got to the picking process and no one was picking Nick, you could kind of see him being like, oh no, this is a real problem, and then he started being more real, and I felt like I started seeing more of who he really is, and I liked that guy more than I do the guy who's always trying to be snarky and oh so witty. During the picking process, if I was Nick, after about the 5th person that was picked, I would have just stopped picking. I would have let Anya and Mondo just take everyone, and then he would have had the best choice from week 2. I don't know if I would have thought of that at the moment, but that's, after watching it 2 or 3 times, that is now my opinion of how I would have done it if I was him. I also thought it was interesting. The mentors are doing something they've probably never done. They've certainly never mentored on a TV show. So they're still getting their feet underneath them. And I may enjoy watching them more than I enjoy watching the contestants. We'll have to see about that. But it was funny because they're trying to come up with these really good reasons why they're picking, and they're picking their strategy and who they relate to, and some of them have really good logic. Things like, and I can't even remember who said what, but, you know, some of the good kind of logic would be like, oh, they're weak in this area and I'm strong in this area. I think I could help them in that area, and they could be better. And I'm like, oh, that's really good logic. And then sometimes there's like medium logic where they're like, oh, I like I like the way they describe their work, or I like how their work, you know, how far along they are. And that's not a guarantee of being good, but I'm still like, okay, I can get your logic on this one. But then some of their like justifications are like, well, they're not very good at design or making things or any of that, but they have passion. They have passion, or I just have this deep soul connection. And I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna really, I don't think that's the best way to pick. So we're gonna have to see how the mentors do. I have not watched episode 3 at this point, so I'm going to go in and do that and see kind of how I feel. And hopefully I will be able to come back with some better information about the contestants. So until then, enjoy your TV watching.